Good evening to you all. My name is Namatov Jerina. I'm a facilitator at Girls for Tech and Education and Innovation Africa under the Education Program. I welcome you all to this International Youth Day online program. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. This day gives a platform to the voices of the youth. It engages youngsters and aims to take action and initiatives that will increase opportunities for them. On this International Youth Day, we have here with us Mr. Emmanuel Kalule Sechito. Mr. Emmanuel, um, Mr. Emmanuel is an art in medicine fellow, the founder of Faces Up Uganda. He's also in 2020 he was among the top 40 under 40, a member of Changemakers Exchange. He's also the 2018 African Youth Leader of the Year nominee and a community organizer plus an activist. Mr. Emmanuel, Girls for Tech and Innovation Africa is honored to have you with us today.
I'm delighted to be hosted in this space, and especially on such an important day, International Youth Day. For me, again, it's a privilege to come and share this space on the day that means a lot to me as a young person, but also to the many young people that I'm representing. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
You're welcome. Once again, kindly share, like, and comment on our event. Thank you so much. Well, Mr. Emmanuel, could you please tell us about yourself and how did you come up with Faces Up Uganda?
Uh, you read a bit about myself, and again, something that you felt that you didn't mention. I'm such a strong and passionate lover for children. I have a lot of interest in children in the sense of harnessing their potential. My name is Sekito Kalde Emmanuel. I'm the founder of an organization called Faces Up, a youth-led non-profit organization that empowers young people from underserved communities through creative arts and mentorship. Our work focuses on the discipline of enabling young people and the youth use their own skills as a stepping stone to pursue their visions but also live a better life. This is an organization that I started in 2016 when I was finishing my bachelor's degree from Makerere University. And having had the opportunity to pursue a bachelor's degree in industrial fine arts, I learned a lot about the arts, but also how art can be an interesting tool for community development and empowerment. During my last year at the university, I had the opportunity to do a project in collaboration with the young people from Karere, and this project was aimed at some background noise. I don't know who is having a background noise. There's some background noise. I don't know where it's coming from, but it would be great.
Okay. Well, Mr. Emmanuel, we are really glad that at least someone at least thought about the youth and the young people, and we know they're also grateful. So thank you so much for that, Mr. Emmanuel. And we are just hoping that many of you come up with that kind of initiative. So, Mr. Emmanuel, I have been at your organization like on several occasions, and you've really done so many amazing things. Could you please tell us how you did it, like how you created the interest in children and in their parents?
That's thank you for asking the question. Again, the work that we do is unique in its way because we explore an element that is dear to children. We explore the element of creative arts as a mentoring tool. Having understood the nature of children, children are such inquisitive creatures. Young people have the desire to try out a couple of things without fear of failure. So for me, with the experience that I had as an artist back in 2016, when I did a project with the children in Karere, I came to realize that children are very fascinated by the things they create for themselves. I remember that was a project that I was doing, was a research project where I was supporting children and investigating what is their relationship between toys they buy for them as parents, but also toys the children make for themselves. So from that interaction, I came to realize that many children had so much attachment to the things that they created for themselves. And for me, that opened up a whole conversation and opened my eyes to see that how do we put up such a platform that continue giving young people, especially children, a stage where they can create something for themselves. So for me, I can't say there's a formula that we use to see that interest the young people into the program that you're doing, but for us to harness the power of the arts because art has the opportunity to bring together people from different walks of life, but also it gives them a platform to express themselves. I know that every person wants to express themselves if they're given a chance. And so for us, when we put up this platform, Faces Up as a platform, many children that used to come had the opportunity to express themselves. And the more they express themselves, they found themselves getting more interested in what we are doing. And for when the parents saw what the young children were doing, because for us, we have an holistic program where we involve parents and the children. So when we invite parents and they come at our space and see what their children are doing, the parents are actually mind blown. They are surprised by what the young people are creating. And in that, the parents become encouraging factors. They keep encouraging these children to keep coming to our space because they see that the children are having the opportunity to create a lot of things, but also the children see that they have support from home. So when that support system is established, where the parents are accepting their children to come at our space, and also the children seeing their parents coming to the center to see what they're creating, it gives a lot of interest. So for us, we leverage the opportunity that of involving parents to come and see what the young people are creating, and also giving young people a platform to create what they want. What I didn't mention at the start is the vision of the organization is to inspire young people to do what inspires them because we believe that every young person has that kind of dream, has a certain direction that they want to take. And for us as an organization, we are inspiring them to do what inspires them. So for us, we are helping them pursue their visions. That's why you find that children are very interested in our program because our program is supporting them as individuals. So that's how we've been in position to interest so many of them to come into the program, to stay into the program, but also graduate and interest other people to join our program. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Emmanuel, I agree with you. I was there and I saw when parents came to the organization, they were really excited. And I actually wondered, I'm glad you've answered that question today. I actually wondered how you got those parents involved. And of course, there's no formula that can be used, but what you've mentioned, like it's just a matter of showing children that they can do something. Of course, when they go back home, they talk to their parents, and if the parent sees a child interested in something, a parent sees their daughter or son really good at something, I'm sure they can encourage them. And I think that is what you do at your organization, and we are really grateful. Thank you so much for impacting the youth. I also saw some young kids there. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. If I'm to go to another one, well, today is the International Youth Day, and this is a day that gives a platform to the voices of the youth. Tell us, how does Faces Up Uganda mark this date? You can also use this occasion to present your organization to our auditors and its take action and initiative to increase opportunity for them.
Interesting question. How does Faces Up mark this day? Myself being more part of this conversation, it's a way as an organization to continue sharing about what we are doing, but also inspire other people that have a direction of making an impact in the lives of young people. I want to first give clarity on the people that we serve. We start from the age of 5 to the age of 25. And we mark this day in so many ways because as an organization that is grassroots grounded, but also has interest in creating a sustainable impact, we've put up different models. And today, it being the International Youth Day, we are glad to be representing. We are going to be opening up an exhibition by one of the youth that has graduated from the program. This is a young man based in Achiever Youth Settlement, and we got to know about him in 2020 during our different projects that we carry out all over Uganda. So we identified him, and we saw that he had strong interest into the arts, but also was extremely talented. For us as an organization, the boy was almost going out of the age that we support, but we are like, no, we could extend our age of support to see that young people can continuously access support because not all of them have the support system that we offer. So today we are glad to be presenting an exhibition. It's called Mirrors. If you can allow me to share a screen, I can just give you a little bit of insight of what exhibition I'm talking about. This exhibition is deliberately set to be launched today, the International Youth Day, because the young person who's behind all this artwork is a refugee young man. He's based in Achiever at the age of 21. So for us as an organization, we try to see that we can extend so many opportunities to the young people because the area that we are working in, especially creative arts, have been neglected by society. Not a lot of young people are involved into the arts. Art has been the field that has been dominated by the expatriates, the people that are above 40 years, because maybe they have gained something. And for the young people, they have not seen themselves. They have not seen themselves venturing into this space. For us as an organization, we're trying to see that we can continuously create platforms. So Makano and this exhibition is one of the ways we are celebrating this year's International Youth Day. And also me being a part of this conversation is our contribution to seeing that young people are sharing stories that inspire other young people to take on the drive to create impact from their communities, but also on world at large. Also, I'm delighted to share that because of the work that we do with young people, we've entered into a partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. And previously, at the beginning of this month, we entered into an agreement with the Food and Agriculture Organization to see how do we extend the art to all parts of Uganda, because we've done a lot of work within our community and few districts, but now we are so hungry to see that how do we extend this platform of empowerment, because we've seen its impact. We've seen the lives of young people change, especially those that are in position to create, but also we've seen young people shaping their future. We see them using their skills that they gained from the program and doing something for themselves. I can take the example of the young people that support their education. We have children that support their education from the age of 8, paying their school fees, and those that are at the age of 25 paying their school fees. And this is only possible because young people, we've impacted with them in skills, and the young people are in position to create artworks. When they create these artworks, we will develop an online platform that enables these young people to sell their merchandise all over the world. And once they sell this merchandise,
Mr.
so as
Emmanuel,
an
thank you.
organization, we have put up different platforms to see that our celebration of the young people is not only about International Youth Day, but is before and even after, because we believe every day is a day for the youth, because the young people make up 70% of the total population in Uganda, especially those that are below the age of 25. They make up 70%. And for us as a country like Uganda, our future depends on the young people. It is said that by 2040, the young people in Uganda, the population is going to be 75 million. So you can see such growth. And if this growth is not harnessed and supported at the rightful age, it means that the country and the world at large risks the opportunity of leveraging the potential of young people. So for us as an organization, we put up different platforms, and also at the beginning of this year, in preparation of the International Youth Day, we put up a 25% discounts on all merchandise on our store. This is aimed at celebrating people, but also continuously sharing the potential and the creativity of the people, of the young people over the world, but also giving them an opportunity to use their skills to continuously attract support. So there are so many ways that we continuously support young people, especially the youth. And for us as an organization, being youthful and being youth-led, we believe that we cannot speak about these things. We need to take action on them. And from taking action, we can interest other people that share the same vision as we are and drive the youth agenda ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for that, and congratulations upon your partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization. Congratulations upon that achievement. And just a simple question about the exhibition. Is it going to be an online event, or it is going to be staged somewhere? You were not clear on that.
This exhibition is going to be a virtual one because as an organization, we want to exploit the power of technology to see that we can spread the message about the potential of young people, especially from underserved. In the short time, I'll be sharing the link. I can share the link into the discussion. So anyone that might wants to check it out, this is an opportunity for them to see what young people and the youth are in position to do when they have such a strong supportive system.
Yeah, very true. Plus also helping children, like those children that support their own education, those that pay their own tuition. Thank you about that. I've learned that so many children in your program actually pay for their own tuition just by selling those art pieces that they do.
Yeah,
Thank you so much
actually,
about that.
you're welcome. For me, it's again with this kind of work that we do, we are intentional on how we empower young people. We've lived with experience that so many young people are being empowered in several programs, but in one way, it kind of creates kind of dependency. For us as an organization, we want to see that how do we sustainably put up a platform where young people see firsthand how their own skills can lead them to better places. And so when we see children raise their school fees through art, it not only impresses us as an organization, but it impresses them as children, build their confidence, but also grow with a sense of purpose and productivity. So we shall continue doing this work because we see the impact it creates, but also the kind of discipline and understanding that the young people grow up with, especially when they start to take responsibility when they're young.
Very true, and we appreciate you for that, Mr. Emmanuel. Um, well, my next question could be is COVID-19 brought a lot of changes in our community, and I'm sure we all agree on that. May you please tell us how this epidemic impacted you directly as a person and as organization, and how Faces Up was able to turn this negative challenge into something positive through its program?
Like again, they actually I never thought of a time in my life that could close our space for the young people. This is a space that we put up, our community center. Especially I felt that young people need to be here at all times. But because of the pandemic, we closed our doors and no one could access the space. It was such unprepared decision for us, but it was the rightful decision for us to take because of the health precautions that were set by the government, but also seeing how we can contribute, how we can support young people to keep safe. So it was really a challenging time. As an organization, we are on an emotional roller coaster. Myself, as an individual, I stopped working, I stopped traveling, I stopped visiting family because there were no transport system. I stopped seeing children, and whenever I used to pass around them, they could always ask me, but because we were told not to keep in close proximity with the people, I always resisted them. So for me, it was really so hard to see that at a time like that where young people needed our support the most, it was a time where we are very selfish. Selfish as individuals, but selfish as an organization because we paid attention to ourselves before we paid attention to other people. So for me, as at that time really challenged us a lot because, like again, I told you we sold merchandise. We sell merchandise to attract support, to support the education of children. And because of the pandemic, it was so hard for us to market our items. Most of the things that we sell, we used to take physical exhibitions in different parts of the country, but also have different displays at different places. But because of the pandemic, all businesses were stopped. And so what that meant is that all the merchandise that we had on sale got slow in purchase. People are really were very slow in purchasing, and we could understand because at least every person was in a survival mode. So for us as an organization, it challenged us in ways that our incomes as an organization reduced drastically. As a team, most of our people that I used to work with were not in position to continue with our work because we didn't have the financial means to keep supporting them to continue doing the work of the organization. But also, every person was in a stage of survival. So for me as a leader, it taught me so many ways, so many things. Some of them were negative, but also during that same time, it gave us an opportunity because we had closed our center and most of our work is hands-on. Young people come to the space to paint and get mentored. And because of the pandemic, most of them used not to come to the center. So what we did as an organization, we were like, how do we remain relevant even in this time? So it gave us an opportunity to pilot a project. It was called Positivity in Terms of Diversity. We were like, regardless what negativity that is passing because of the pandemic, how do we spark that conversation around positivity amongst children? We knew that many of them are being challenged psychosocially, but as an organization, we asked ourselves, how do we still remain relevant in the lives of young people, even when they don't come to our space? So it gave us the opportunity to pilot a project, an art contest, which we rolled out in 2020. That was entirely virtual. We sent it out to the young people, and we had was 356 submissions from all over the country. Many young people expressed their artworks, and this project was seeking to enable young people look at times of adversity and pick up those positive things that they picked on the way. So we are very interested to see that all the children that were home were looking for platforms to continue engaging. And so when we rolled out this contest, we had such a great response, and that's actually opened up a new direction for us as an organization. We continuously saw how important leveraging the space, especially the internet, was in an era where everything was getting virtual. In that same time, we implemented that project and got a lot of interest in the community, but also showed us as an organization how do we easily implement our work without spending a lot, because we only needed internet and graphic design. We didn't need a lot of administrative costs. And so for us, it showed how do we implement our program at a reduced cost, but get as much reach and impact as possible. So when they announced the second lockdown in 2021, we were like, hey, why not roll out the same exhibition contest that we rolled out the previous year, but this time round in a much bigger and better way. So we had the opportunity to attract support from African Culture Fund and implemented the biggest art contest for the children all over Uganda. This contest involved children with special needs, involved children from refugee communities, but also children had a platform of showcasing their artworks in a gallery. So for us as an organization, these are things that we used to dream about, but because of the time of the pandemic, it stretched us further to see how do we continue implementing our program. And I'm glad to share with you that this project that we are partnering with FAO, it started during the pandemic. It started as our first online art contest, and now it's getting physical, and now it's going to reach out all parts of the country. And in the end, we're going to carry out the biggest exhibition of children in Uganda, but also in East Africa. And so for me, it showed me that during this time of adversity, There's so many challenges that come along with it, but there's so many opportunities if you only change the way you look at time. So for me, I don't regret what the pandemic brought. It brought a lot of lessons and us to lose, but also it showed us that life is the most important thing to pay attention to. So for me, I say that regardless of what happened, we still stand and still standing taller than we were because we've been challenged. And they say that the mind that has been challenged and stretched can never remain the same. So during that time of the pandemic, we got a lot of wins and losses. Thank you.
From what you have said, Mr. Emmanuel, I can tell that during this pandemic, we all had to change our mindset and how we view things. So it means we had to view things in a different perspective. Um, of course, the pandemic affected everyone financially, and I believe you had to buy materials. You didn't have enough market for the art pieces of the children, but congratulations upon every achievement you made during that pandemic. Congratulations, because I believe it wasn't an easy thing for everyone, and more so for for a non-profit organization like yours.
I actually that thank you again. Like during that time of the pandemic, uh, we changed actually our approach. I remember because of the financial difficulties families were going through and the children that we support, we changed our model slightly. We used to sell artworks to raise money to pay for that school fees, but because of the pandemic, all the money that we made from the artworks, we bought supplies and food stuff to support families. During the pandemic, I'm glad that we are able to reach out to 250 families, give them sugar, give them cooking oil, give them soap, give them rice, give them soap. We supported their families because we knew that as much as education is important, but during the time of the pandemic, health was the most important thing. So we try to see how do we extend the little support that we had to the family so that these children keep smiling than being miserable. Because many families were understandably going through a lot. But for us as an organization, we're like, no, let's cut our expenditure and let's use the money to reach out to families so that they can reach, they can get supported, but also remain hopeful because so many things are going through. So many people are going through a lot of struggles. But again, for us as an organization, we are glad that we are able to stand in for them in the time that they needed us the most.
Thank you for that kind heart. Thank you for that kindness. And I believe very many families were touched. Thank you so much for that kindness. Um, well, Mr. Emmanuel, the African youth nowadays are described as being lazy, and we can all agree with that. They want money so easily and at any cost. So, what do you think about it? And what do you think can be done to change our youth mindset, which will make them change makers?
Thank you again. I think wanting money is not a problem. Uh, I think the way to get it is the problem. I believe that every person has a motivation, and some people, it's money. Getting money because they need to put food on the table. Maybe they're supporting their families. But then, for me, what actually challenges me and gets me sad is to see that young people wanting to be given. So for me, I feel like it's not the matter of money, but it's the matter of feeling entitled. Many young people and the youth feel so much entitled. They believe that the world owes them something. They believe that the grandparents, their parents, their friends need to give them. So for me, I I stand I stand in a line of thought that young people are not lazy; they just feel entitled, and because of that entitlement, they think that everything needs to find them where they are. For me, I strongly believe that youth needs to take action, and youth need to be productive. I don't believe in the idea of being given. That's why you see in our approach of work, we don't give children. We never use the word that we give children or help children attain education. We say that we enable young people use their own creativity to pay for their school fees. Because we know that these children are the future youth. And if we don't support them at young age, they also grow with that kind of entitlement mindset. So for me, I believe that each and every young person should not feel entitled. No one, you own nothing in the world, and everything you have to work for it. Even when your parents are rich, even when your parents can provide, I believe that they were not given, they work for whatever that they have. So the mindset of wanting to be given and the mindset of feeling that because my mom has this, it will belong to me. I think young people need to change that. Why? Because you have been shocked that whatever that you may hope to get, you may not achieve it. But being an active youth, through the process of work, you learn and pick up a couple of skills. For me, myself, I say that even when the organization is not in existence, myself, I've learned a lot that I can start from scratch, even if it's tomorrow. I've learned a lot of skills, and I believe it should be the same discipline that the youth should have. They should learn a lot of skills. Many of them, because they have that education at the university, some have felt that because of their education, the world needs to give them. There's nothing that is given. Everything is fought for. And in whatever way that you do is, you have to go for it and you have to work for it. There's nothing as I am educated enough and I need to be promoted. I have a master's in this, and because I studied from Makerere University, I need to be in this place. The world is changing from that kind of direction, the direction of what can you do, than where do you come from, than what did you study, than who is your father. The world is driving in a sense that let the work that you do speak for you. So for me, my message to the youth is let them not feel entitled. Let the youth put in the work that it takes. Let the youth build skills. Let the youth establish great networks. Many of young people are exposed into maybe alcoholism, maybe partying Monday to Monday. I believe that life, you can enjoy life, but shouldn't be the discipline. It shouldn't be the way of life. I think young people need to become serious. Serious about their lives, but serious about their future. In that way, this entitlement will be overcome, and what we call laziness will not be seen, because the youth will be driving the agenda because of the actions and the direction that they have for themselves, but also the world at large. Thank you.
Mr. Sechit, I like what you say, that wanting money is not a problem, but how they want the money. And you're very right. Like the youth nowadays feel so entitled. They feel entitled to their parents' money. If they have big siblings, they feel entitled to that money. So I believe that what you've talked about the skills, is looks like having skills is the way to go right now. And I think the youth out there have heard your message, and those who will subscribe, those who will share this conversation, I'm sure the youth will pick something.
That's my hope, that they don't just listen, but they put in action.
They will, they surely will. Um, Still, Mr. Sechido, I still have some few questions for you this day. So to achieve the sustainable development goals, we must ensure that no one is left behind. This year's theme of on this day, the International Youth Day, is about intergenerational solidarity, creating a world for all ages. Tell us how Faces Up Uganda contributes to this leverage to the full potential of all generations.
Actually, this year's International Youth Day got my attention the most as compared to other Youth Day celebrations, because it talked about something that is really, really, really very important: intergeneration solidarity. As previous conversations have been about the youth cannot exist without the elders. I believe that it ceases to be just about the youth, but how do we bring each and every person, regardless of their age, into this conversation of achieving an inclusive world, a world where every person's potential is fulfilled. So, with the understanding of that, as an organization faces up, we previously used to open our work to young people from 8 years. But each and every time that we open for the 8 years to come into the community center, the 3 years were also coming along. At first, we used not to let them in, saying that they're still young to learn the arts. But they kept insisting, telling us, you need to include us. We revised our model and opened for kids as early as 3 years. It's because the young people below 5 years were advocating for themselves. It shows that the empowerment and this work of empowering people should not segregate people based on their age. In this, I see an idea of ageism where people are discriminated because of their age. And I understand that the young people, like the children, step in the feet of the people that have gone before them. And with the youth, step into the feet of the people that were ahead of us. So this is a chain that once one piece is not intact, the other pieces cannot work. Why I say that is most of the times people have always said that the elder generation is not giving us the space. The older generation, the elders are saying the young people are chaotic. The young people are saying the older people are not giving us the space and they're not giving us the opportunity and are not including us. I believe that every person should be included because we, the young people, have the energy, the children have the ambition and the zeal, the elder generation, they have the experience and the knowledge. So when these three different generations come together, I believe that every one of us wins. And for me, the idea of bringing all ages together, it's such a discussion that we should carry on, not only because of the International Youth Day, but it should be the discipline, it should be the conversation around each and every sector, be it in agriculture, be it in the education, be it in the technology, be it in political and governance. It should be how do each generation work closely with each other? How do we, the young people, work in sync with the older generation? It is not only, we will not reach so far if we segregate, if we divide ourselves. Because when we divide these ages, for example, the children and the youth and the other generation, each one of us is going to be protective of the other. We are going to see each other as a threat because we have cocooned. The older people only be with older people. The youth only be with you. The children only be with you. So that we are creating different cocoons. And life and this kind of creates barriers. For me, I believe that this conversation around youth, it should not be only the youth to talk about these things. The youth should talk about them in support with the older people. And they should also bring children onto the conversation. For me, as an organization, we involve parents. We involve parents in the development of the children because we know that even when we empower this child and we don't involve the parents, we are going to create a bridge. We are going to create a boundary. The parents are not going to understand the young people, and young people are not going to be open to their parents. So for us, when we bring them together in our space, the parents see what the children are creating, and the children see their parents coming to see what they create. It kind of establishes that kind of synergy. It becomes the time that the parents are the ones who are reminding their children, oh, it's Saturday, you have to go to Faces Up, you have to go for the session. And children are, even if they have work to do at home, the parent can be like, oh, maybe we'll come back and do it later because it's time for studying. So we see that once we involve the older generation, the parents, they start to support the young people's visions. And this is the way where we are not leaving anyone behind. So for me, I think and I believe that the conversation around intergeneration solidarity should be the conversation at all different levels, be it grassroots, be it at national level, be it at regional level, be it at world level. How do we learn from the experience of those that were before us? How do we use that experience and how do we bring in our energies to see that we create a world where each and every person is not left behind? In this sense, we shall not be a law of leaving other people behind because of ageism, other isms also come into place. For example, racism. People are suddenly isolating young people. I recently saw a video on Disneyland where some gentleman was wearing a mask and the children are very excited to see the person and ignore these children. This is because, first, because of age, the children are young, but because of also racism. So because of when we segregate, when we divide ourselves into different age cocoons, we start to fight each other. And for me, I believe the fight can never be won. We just have to work together, understand each other, and know where do we want this world to go? What do we want to do in this world? What impact do we want to create? How do we bring each and every person on the table? Sometimes they say that children have nothing to contribute, but for us as an organization, in our mandate, children are key stakeholders in our work. Children say something and the organization listens. The youth say something and the organization listens, even the parents. So for us, we don't want to preach about inclusion. We want to preach and practice it at the start of the organization, even before we start to tell the government needs to include the young people. We need to include each and every person from whatever area that we are in. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel, for that. And I believe this is a very wide topic that actually needs a day of its own. I'm sure if we decided to talk about this, it could take a whole day. Just to comment on what you've just said, I believe when they talk about the youth, they're actually living out this generation that we come after, which is a very important generation because I've never had someone having a role model who is below their age. They're usually those grown-ups. So I believe they should also be involved, usually in our discussions and in everything. So Mr. Manuel, just lastly, something that I still want to know. Coming to the end of this show, what is the only thing you'd like our auditors to remember about you?
Uh, as someone who gave children the platform that they use as a stepping stone to pursue their vision. For me, as a person, I strongly believe that each and every person should be given an opportunity, regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of their social, economic, political backgrounds. Each and every person should be given a platform. So for me, something that I want people to remember me for is that that's the person that put up a platform that enabled young people pursue their own visions. Thank you.
That's a quick one and a very nice one. And I'm sure it will come to happen. Like it will happen. They'll surely remember you because you have greatly impacted them. You said you handle kids from like 5 years. I remember seeing also some ladies there. They looked 20. So you really impacted the society. And we are so grateful. Mr. Emmanuel, I really want to thank you for being with us today. We are so grateful for your time and input you've made towards this conversation. We hope that these inputs made will shape and inspire more youth. And to our viewers and participants, thank you for being part of us. Stay safe and stay blessed. Catch you next time. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Again, thank you again for putting up this platform, but also for inviting me specifically to share. There's so much that you can talk about the youth, but I think we should be taking action. It's no longer about conversation. It's more about action because everyone is speaking, but not everyone is doing. So let's do the work. Thank you.